Hey everyone, so quick little tutorial on annotation because that is really important when you analyze, when you start to find interpretations for what text you're analyzing for Essay 3. So if we think about, first of all, if you haven't read or watched my video lecture about Essay 3, make sure to do that first because this will make a little more sense after. There's a PowerPoint over it and these assignment guidelines, so make sure you review the video lecture. But when we think about how to analyze text, a good first step is to annotate the text. Annotate is a way to mark the text and take notes on it, but it goes a lot deeper than just underlining and circling words and saying, wow, awesome, cool, because that doesn't really help us find the hidden meaning behind the text, which is what your essay is about. So if we think about in paragraph 2, you need to share 5 different words or phrases from the poem or song that you're analyzing and discussing the emotional meaning behind each word. So I'm going to show you a poem that I annotated just so you have a sample. Annotations only make sense to the person who did it. So you're probably looking at this and thinking, that makes no sense, I'm so confused, but it makes a lot of sense to me. So everybody has their own style is what I'm trying to say. But in your check-in, at your weekly check-in activity, you're going to practice on a different text, and it'll be great ways to give you ideas for when you actually annotate and work on the text that your essay is going to be on. So in that paragraph, you need to share at least 5 words and what emotion they bring to this. So if you notice in my annotation right here, everything in yellow, so I'll just kind of do that right now. Everything that's in yellow are words that I feel trigger a type of emotion. And I'm going to have the sample for you to view while you work on the weekly check-in assignment. But just so we can kind of compare with the assignment guidelines. So in paragraph 2, you're sharing 5 different words or phrases that indicate emotion. In paragraph 3, you're thinking who the speaker of the poem or song, whatever you choose for the actual essay, who the speaker is, and what point of view the poem or song is in. Is it in first, second, or third? And then you give evidence, all to say if you trust the narrator or not. So what I have in brown is the examples of narration. So I see the word your, you, your. It's being directed in second person, this poem. Second person point of view, so it speaks as if we're the onion maybe. This is about an ode to an onion, by the way. It's a great poem. So then it's just my way of ask questions when you annotate. Does this gain our trust? Ask questions. Circle words that don't make sense and look them up. I did when I annotated this poem that I'm using as a sample. The table of the poor, narrator gains our trust by being vulnerable, maybe. So anything like that is my way of, if I was writing this essay on this poem, that would be my way of kind of trying to begin to interpret it according to the guidelines too. I think that helps if you annotate based on the guidelines because it's great practice. And then paragraph 4 is the more technical part, right, of the poem or song. Probably doesn't have all of these, but whatever you notice. For example, in Ode to an Onion, I noticed alliteration. I also circled words for definitions where I looked them up to find their meaning and how it connects. And then I think I just found those 2. Yeah. So let's take a look. And I forgot to say, a way to gain trust too is if the poem references something outside of what the poem is about. So I noticed a lot of reference to the miracle of life, to Aphrodite, who is a Greek mythology figure, and then just about birth. So I was getting a lot of reference to religion maybe in that sense. So that's a sense of trust as well. But going back to the technical aspect, anything in purple relates to that part. So constant consolation, we got alliteration there a little bit. Similar sounds maybe means, and then round rows maybe means the onion is similar to a god, like Aphrodite is a god. That's something that I was kind of gathering from that. And then that was the main technical term that I found. But definition words are also part of the technical. So any words you want to circle and look up their meaning to see how that could add to the meaning of the poem. So like I said, somebody else's annotations, like the one I just did here, could be very confusing because you didn't make the annotations. But I like color coding things because it helps me make connections, especially just teaching it to you all and showing you how I connected it with our assignment guidelines. The annotation is practice this week for your weekly check-in, and it's not what you're going to analyze for the essay, by the way. You're choosing whatever poem or song you want for the essay, but I would connect it to the essay assignment guidelines just because it's excellent practice regardless, right? But we're just learning annotation, teaching what it is. If you just, I used an app to do this, to write on it. You don't have to do that. You can print out the sample poem this week and make your marks on it and take a picture of it. You can copy and paste it to a Word document and just add highlight, color, bolding, whatever you want, type text next to it. It's your own creative freedom, but this was just my way to show you that I was trying to, each color connects to our assignment guidelines and what you have to do for the essay, just for practice. You don't need to think about the essay this week too much, but if I had to determine a thesis, your thesis for the essay is what is the message of the poem. So I was gathering from this, I'll let you read this on your own, but what I was gathering is Ode to an Onion by Pablo Neruda. Depicts natural food as a savior to mankind. That's kind of a theme or a hidden message I got from this poem. So if I was writing my essay on this poem, this would be my thesis. It's what I think the message is. And how I got that was just by breaking down the poem and annotating it. So when you work on the actual essay, annotate, meaning circle words, try to connect it to the assignment guidelines especially so that you get good examples for each paragraph so you're prepared, so you know what to write with when you start the essay. This week, the weekly check-in assignment is just practice with a practice sample, so it's not the essay topic, but I would use the essay as a guide. I would use this as a guide. Again, it's just for practice. So let me know if you have any questions, but that's what you're doing this week with the weekly check-in, let alone practicing for the essay too.